Welcome, dear listener, to an epic saga of unity and discovery, a tale woven with the threads of ancient lore and modern dreams. Settle in and let your imagination take flight as you journey alongside Arion, the half-dragon, whose heart bridges two worlds. This mesmerizing story unfolds in the echoes of battles past and the promise of a peaceful future, where dragons and humans walk as one. Whether you're relaxing at home, commuting through bustling streets, or simply unwinding after a long day, let this narrative unfold gently in the background and allow its magic to stir your soul as you engage in your everyday wonders. The Dragon's Reckoning, Legacy of the Scaled Warriors. I have lived my whole life straddling two worlds. Born of a human mother and a dragon father, I have always been a creature of two minds and two skins. My name is Arion, and this is the tale of a war that would decide the fate of all dragons and those who dream of flight. It began as whispers on the wind, rumors of unrest among the dragonkind. I felt it in my bones, a restlessness that echoed with every beat of my wings. The air crackled with tension, as if the world itself awaited some grand upheaval. It was during these times that I would seek solace in the highest peaks, away from the prying eyes of both humans and dragons. One night, while perched on a jagged cliff with the moon casting her silver glow across the landscape, a figure descended from the sky, landing with a grace that belied his size. It was Corin, a dragon elder and keeper of the old ways. He regarded me with eyes as ancient as the mountains themselves. "Arion," he began, "your time has come. The balance of our world teeters on the edge." He spoke of the gathering storms, a prophecy whispered among dragonkind since before my grandfather hatched. A war was coming, a clash of titans that would see one side prevail and the other driven to ash. Corin's words weighed heavy in my heart. Could I find my place amid such scales and fury? Were my dreams of uniting both halves of my soul to be realized, or shattered beneath the claws of those who saw only division? With Corin as my guide, I journeyed to the Dragonheart, a place steeped in myth where dragons of all kinds convened in times of crisis. It was here that the depth of the conflict became truly apparent. Factions formed along ancient lines, some dragons yearning for dominion over the sky's expanse, others seeking harmony with the world below. Days bled into nights as the tension mounted. In the distance, we could see the fires of destiny on the horizon, blazing and furious as fate itself. I, neither fully dragon nor human, found kinship with both camps, yet belonging to neither. As the drums of war boomed louder, it became clear that this was not just a battle for domination, but a reckoning, a decision point where we would choose what kind of world we wished to craft from the ashes. In the end, the fighting was as brutal as it was majestic, a waltz of wind and flame. From above, the heavens wept molten tears, and below, the earth groaned under the weight of life's eternal struggle. When the echoes of our roars faded and the smoke began to clear, those of us who survived found the lessons of the ancients etched into our beings. For we learned that while the scales of battle may tip, it is our actions and choices that carve the legacy we leave behind. Now, as I look back on the epic war that reshaped the skies, I realize that I was forged anew. In the fires of conflict, I found my identity, a legacy of scaled warriors who chose to rise above their instincts and embrace a new dawn. I, Arion, the half-dragon, am a testament to the power of unity over division, of destiny embraced with an open heart rather than a clenched fist. My story, our story, will echo through the ages, a tale of hope amid the storm, and peace in the shadow of wings. In the quiet aftermath of war, when the echoes of clashing wings and roaring flames had settled, the world felt both broken and new. The sky, once a battlefield, now stretched open and limitless, a canvas waiting for new dreams to be painted upon it. In those days, I found myself wandering among the remnants of what once was fields where dragons had fallen, their majestic forms now still and solemn against the earth's embrace. There was a profound silence here, a sacredness to the moment that spoke of endings and beginnings in equal measure. Amongst the ashes of conflict, I sought out my fellow survivors. Dragons of all sizes and hues gathered, their eyes reflecting a shared understanding forged in the fires of war. There was no longer us and them, but an urgent need to heal and rebuild, to find common ground in the aftermath of what could have been our end. I returned often to these places, with Corin at my side. He had become a father figure, a mentor in this turbulent era. Together, we found ways to honor those we had lost, building cairns of stone and memories to mark their passing. It was a time of reflection and renewal, a chance to rewrite the fate of dragonkind. As the days wore on, I found myself drawn back to the Dragonheart, the sacred meeting place where it all began. Here, in this cradle of legends, dragons came not in anger or fear, but in curiosity and hope. We shared stories, old and new, each a thread in the tapestry of our shared existence. Over time, leaders emerged from among us, dragons whose voices carried the echoes of the ancients and the wisdom of the newly learned. These dragons spoke not of domination, but of coexistence, a unity that heralded a new age for all who called this world home. I, Arion, found my place among these leaders, not because of my heritage, but because of my vision. My dual nature, a bridge between human ambition and dragon majesty, gave me a perspective that others lacked. In time, I became a symbol of what we could achieve if we dared to dream beyond our differences. I traveled to human lands, speaking with kings and rulers who had watched the sky darken with our battles. Such encounters were not without their challenges, but slowly, surely, understanding blossomed where once suspicion thrived. Tales of the Dragon War spread, rippling through human and dragon lands alike, each a beacon of the changing times. So we built together, stone by stone, scale by scale, laying the foundations for a new era. We shared knowledge, art, and companionship, forging alliances that solidified under an unyielding belief in the possibilities of peace. I am often asked by young ones, both human and dragon, what it means to be caught between two worlds. My answer is simple. It means I have the best of both, the vision to see the sky from the ground, and the courage to ground myself when I soar too high. It means I am forever free, yet always responsible for those who cannot yet fly. In the years that followed, legends grew around our time of turmoil. Stories of the epic war between dragons filled hearthside tales, each recounted adventure sparking awe and wonder. The tale of Arion, the half-dragon, became part of the eternal narrative of this world, a reminder of what one heart united might achieve. Standing now on the edge of tomorrow, wings unfurled to feel the promise of the wind, I know our legacy is a living thing, embodied in every fledgling that takes to the air and every hatchling born in this time of peace. This is the breath of creation, the legacy we have forged with fire and hope. And so I remain vigilant, ever the guardian of dreams with scales and spirit. For I am Arion, son of sky and earthbound stars, and my journey, our journey, continues in every tale that takes flight. The years unfolded like a dragon's dream, a long, winding journey marked by victories both great and small. As peace settled in, the world bloomed with color and life. Villages rebuilt from the ashes flourished, and meadows once scarred by war began to heal. The skies once filled with battle cries now echoed with laughter and joy, as dragons and humans shared the freedom of flight. My life became a tapestry of experiences, woven from moments spent among both dragon and human kin. Each day was a dance between these realms, a delicate balance that I had come to cherish and fully embrace. Often I returned to my mother's village, nestled at the foot of the mountains. The people there had always seen me as a bridging force, and now their children played under the wings of young dragons without fear. It was a sight that filled my heart with profound joy and contentment. Here, the ties of family and history were strongest, anchoring me even as my wings carried me across the world. Corin, now a venerable elder with a grace and wisdom that defied time, stood by my side. We walked through history together, guardians of a peace that had been hard-won, yet felt as fragile as glass. He taught me the ways of the ancients, not through words alone, but through actions that spoke of love and respect, reminding me always of the dragon heritage that coursed through my veins. It was during one of these lessons, as we watched a sunset bleed into the horizon, that he turned to me and spoke of change. "Arion," he said, his voice as soft as the wind that ruffled his scales, "do you feel it? The world is not still. We must remain vigilant, for change is the only constant." I nodded, understanding the depth of his wisdom. The peace we had forged was not a passive state, but a narrative we authored each day. With each meeting of dragons and humans, with every choice we made, the story of our world continued to unfold. I found myself called back time and again to the dragon heart, now a vibrant nexus of fellowship and learning. It had become a place where wisdom flowed freely, nourished by curious minds and open hearts. Young dragons and humans gathered here to share knowledge and dreams, their laughter and debates fueling a future that had once seemed impossible. With time, I took on the role of a mentor myself, guiding those who came seeking purpose or identity. I spoke to them of the war, not as a cautionary tale, but as a testament to the strength found in unity. I shared stories of courage and understanding, of how the fires of destiny forged new paths from ashes. These lessons spread wide, carried by winds warmed by the breath of dragons and inspired by the indomitable spirit of humanity. Each tale a spark, igniting imaginations and inspiring acts of kindness and bravery across our realm. As the older generation's scales began to lose their luster and their voices grew softer, I realized with a bittersweet smile that my own scales bore new generations' reflections. These fledglings saw the world with bright eyes, full of potential and promise. They embodied the legacy of my years, their dreams shaped by the harmony we had fought so hard to create. And as I watched them, I felt a deep sense of gratitude and fulfillment. For in these young ones, I saw the future a tapestry woven from hope and courage, shimmering with the possibility of what might yet be achieved. So as I stand upon this precipice of past and future, wings spread wide in an embrace of all that is and all that might be, I know my journey is not to end, but to evolve. I soar on, ever a guardian of peace, a chronicler of history, and a dreamer of skies unending. For I am Arion, the half-dragon whose steps carve paths from fire to flight, and the story lives within me, a tale of transformation, a song carried by every breeze, a legacy of scaled warriors that continues to dance amid the clouds. Time has a way of moving without mercy, yet offering gifts unlooked for. Over the years, as I walked a path amidst both dragons and humans, I witnessed many changes, but few as profound as the growth of my own heart. From the fragmented self I was born into, a more coherent soul had emerged, a bridge built not only between scales and skin, but between the past and the future. The world I had dreamed of was no longer a fantasy. It was the reality we lived each day. Tales of the epic war were still shared, but now they served as reminders of both our capacity for destruction and the healing power of understanding. Through stories, history was carved into memory, a lesson told under star-dappled nights to ensure no lapse into shadows. During this time of reflection and prosperity, I began to notice a change within myself, a quiet evolution marking the dawn of a new chapter. With it came a deep sense of purpose, urging me to explore the edges of my world. It was an impulse I could not ignore, driving me beyond familiar lands, over distant mountains, and across uncharted seas. I sought ancient places whispered of in dragon tale, hidden coves and islands kissed by the first celestial light, where myths were born and the winds carried secrets older than time. In these far reaches, I encountered creatures and cultures that had never known the strife that had so long defined my life. Here, dragons soared free and unfettered by conflicts of old. Their societies flourished in communion with their surroundings, living in concert with the world rather than seeking to conquer it. I learned much from them, adopting their philosophies into my own understanding. They taught me the beauty of living in harmony with nature, how every breath taken was a gift, and every shared glance a connection to something greater than oneself. During my travels, I encountered a dragoness named Larisse, her beauty as fierce and untamed as the ocean waves that framed our meeting. She too was a seeker, a visionary drawn to explore the unknown rather than settle with the known. Her spirit resonated with mine, a melody familiar and enthralling. Together we soared across the skies, shared dreams under the watchful gaze of ancient stars. In Larisse, I found a companion of both heart and mind, someone who understood my past without words and believed in the future we could build together. As we circled back to the lands of my birth, our arrival was met with celebration. News of our journeys, of new lands and alliances, spread like wildfire through both human villages and dragon lairs. Our discoveries brought fresh perspectives that enriched the life we had nurtured, fostering innovation and curiosity. With Larisse at my side, I found the courage to embrace new responsibilities. Together, we advocated for deeper partnerships between humans and dragons, emphasizing education and unity rather than division. We spoke at councils and gatherings, our voices entwining as one. We built schools where knowledge and culture intermingled, and each blazing a trail toward a shared understanding. Our wings cast wide, not as a shield against one another, but as a canopy of protection and foresight. Through our united efforts, our world blossomed anew, vibrant and full of possibilities as it had never been before. In such endeavors, I found immense fulfillment, the kind that lingers like the glow of embers long after the fire has ceased. Standing now at this juncture between legacy and destiny, I am more convinced than ever of the power woven into connection. Show we, born of different worlds, can cultivate dreams vaster than any horizon. Indeed, as I gather new stories to share with Larisse, with friends and kin, I realize that each day forward is both an ending and a beginning, perpetually renewed. I am Arion, once a being of halves, now whole in purpose and passion. My journey, your journey, unfolds still, across brimming oceans and skies yet uncharted, ever tethered by the shared strength of unity forged in the heart's trembling embrace of the infinite. As seasons whispered past and the cycles of the moon carved their steady dance across the sky, the land flourished under the new order we had cultivated. Dragons and humans, once estranged, now thrived in harmony, each culture enriching the other. Together, we built cities that reached toward the heavens and nurtured fields that fed generations. Larisse and I were often called upon as emissaries to distant lands, our bond a living testament to what unity across differences could create. In our travels, we bore witness to a renaissance of miracles, a resurgence of the old magics that had once been nearly extinguished by intolerance and fear. With Larisse, I delved deep into the mysteries of those magics, guided by elders who cherished their secrets, yet understood the need for sharing them once more. We learned of energies that connected the living and the ethereal, powering not just spells and enchantments, but fueling creativity and progress as well. Our travels grew ambitious, taking us to the brink of the known world and beyond, where we charted the splintered peaks of forgotten mountains and deciphered the silent spells etched into the walls of ancient caves. Along these voyages, we met others like ourselves, bridges in their own rights, who inspired yet more alliances between conflicting factions. New friendships were etched into the annals of our journey, creating bonds that tied even the farthest regions to the heart of our unified lands. Through the years, our kin expanded, both human and dragon. Fledglings grew strong under the watchful eyes of elders, and hatchlings took their first breaths beneath the protective arc of their parents' wings. Each life added a precious note to the song that sang through the valleys and over the mountains. It was during one such spring, amid the riotous bloom of flowers, their colors a tapestry of the earth's jubilant spirit, that Larisse and I welcomed our firstborn. A spirited creature with wings that caught the sun's fire and eyes wise beyond years. This child was the living proof of all that had been achieved, half dragon, half mystic, a testament to a world reimagined. The joy that our offspring brought was reflected not only in our eyes, but in the hearts of our community. Laughter, which had long been the music of our repaired world, grew louder, each note a pledge to protect this fragile peace. Our days of exploration continued, though the rhythm had changed. With our child nestled upon our backs, we soared through skies and traversed landscapes, teaching the next generation with each sunrise and moonlit journey, ensuring that the lessons of past battles would not fade into the forgotten. Stories remained the pillars of our culture, a bridge between epochs, weaving tales of the epic war and the dragon-human harmony that had emerged from its ashes. While some stories spoke of hardships, others celebrated victories, painting a tapestry of resilience and adaptation, echoing the unyielding march toward understanding. In time, our family grew, with each child's arrival a reminder that life is an unbroken circle, forever spinning, echoing the eternal dance of seasons. As Larisse and I grew older, it was our turn to pass on not only the tales of our own journey, but the wisdom gleaned from ages past, allowing new voices to rise and renew our world with their dreams. Looking upon our legacy, upon the expanse of land and sky that had witnessed our trials and triumphs, I felt a profound sense of peace. For I knew that the foundations we had laid were strong, tempered by the fire of compassion and the steel of unity. And thus my journey continues, not as a lone traveler but as part of a grand mosaic, composed of countless souls striving toward a common horizon. I am Arion, no longer torn between worlds, but a beacon of the love and hope that entwines them, lighting the way for all who dare to follow their dreams on this endless flight. As I stood atop a high plateau, the wind carrying the scent of distant seas and the songs of our ancestors, I felt the weight of time upon me not as a burden, but as a rich tapestry that wrapped around my soul. The sun, setting in a blaze of golden fire, cast long shadows across the land, shadows that danced and mingled with the present, linking past to future in a seamless line. Our world had grown beyond mere survival. It thrived, with trade routes that wound like rivers around the globe, bringing stories and goods from one corner of our realm to another. Markets bustled in the daytime, their wares vibrant as the dreams of those who crafted them, and at night, fires dotted the landscape, each one a hearth shared by dragon and human alike. The cultural exchange that I had once only dreamed of now unfolded naturally, a living testament to the world we had dared to imagine. Schools of learning, infused with both mystical lore and human innovation, sprang up in every city. Young students walked hallways adorned with the symbols of their forebears, eager to learn about the universe and their place within it. In the heart of this new age stood the Dragonheart, a sanctuary and seat of learning that had expanded far beyond its ancient boundaries. Here scholars and sages, those with scales or skin, gathered to debate existence, unravel ancient mysteries, and explore the potentials of their shared future. It was a hub of enlightenment that pulsed like a living heart, its rhythms felt even in the farthest reaches of our lands. Larissa and I often returned there, our presence as much a reminder of history as a beacon of hope for what was yet to come. Together we would walk among the saplings of this intellectual meadow, imparting to the next generation the complexities and beauties of the path we forged. Our children, now grown, flew wide arcs with their own companions, bridging cultures anew with their passions and insights. Watching them, I realized they were not just inheritors of our legacy. They were its renewal, adding chapters to a story that would far outshine the limits of my imagining. As time wore on, I began to see how each wing stroke, every word shared, was a part of the greater narrative. Our triumph was not in defeating foes or even securing peace, but in lighting the way toward understanding, a journey unending and infinite as the sky. It was on a gentle summer's evening, with the world basking in a twilight glow, that I found myself reflecting on life's circular nature. My heart swelled with gratitude for the endless cycle of endings and beginnings, the eternal path that journey and destiny wove together. I had come to understand that stories, like lives, were meant to evolve. And in this evolution, the song of unity and resolve sang out more strongly than ever, carried on the whispers of the wind to touch even those who had yet to dream. As I laid my head back, closing my eyes beneath the vast dome of stars, I made a promise not just to my family or to those I held dear, but to future generations. A promise to leave this world kinder, more wondrous than I had found it. There, amid the quiet hum of night, I heard the heartbeat of our world, steady, strong, and full of endless potential. The story continued and would continue, long after I had laid down my journey's trail. For I was Arion, part of a grand shared legacy, a half-dragon whose dreams soared with each new dawn. And this was simply one chapter in a saga that belonged to us all. As the years unfurled like the great sails of distant ships, I found solace in the rhythm of life that surrounded me. Each sunrise was a promise of new beginnings, and each sunset a gentle goodbye to what had been. In these twilight moments, I often found myself reflecting on the tapestry of my life, an ongoing epic woven with threads of courage and compassion, where dragons and humans stood as partners, not adversaries, in the dance of existence. One day, as the autumn leaves blazed like fire across the landscape and the crisp air whispered of winter's approach, Larissa and I embarked on a journey together, one that was less about distance and more about rediscovery. Our destination was a secluded valley, lush with ancient forests that had watched over the land for centuries, a place where stories and history lingered beneath the canopy like dappled shadows. Here, among the towering trees, we unearthed relics of a time before the conflicts that had nearly torn the world apart. Ruins of old settlements peeked through the underbrush, remnants of civilizations that had dared to dream anew amid the chaos. Each artifact we found spoke of lives lived in hope, of dreams that had kindled the fires of progress. In this valley, where the air seemed to hum with the echoes of yesterdays, we realized that history was cyclical, a cycle of aspiration, struggle, and renewal. As persistent as the turning of the seasons, each generation, inheriting the past, bore the potential to forge its own destiny, carving paths unknown yet intimately connected to all that came before. We gathered stories from these ruins, listening to the quiet tales the stones seemed eager to share, each one another thread added to the grand tapestry of our world, each contributing to the understanding and peace we continued to cultivate. Back at the Dragon Heart, we shared our experiences, recounting the discovery of that lost valley and the wisdom it offered. For it was not only the artifacts that held power, but the understanding that there was always more to learn, more to discover, more to become. Despite the years, my tale was never truly my own. It was ours to tell and retell. We became both storytellers and students, intertwining the threads of my past with the burgeoning future that lay before us. Each generation that followed carried a piece of the legacy, adding their own dreams and visions to the living mosaic. As time cast its gentle caress upon me, silver threading through my scales, I began to step back from the daily intricacies of leadership, trusting in the capable hands, claws, and wings of those I had watched grow. The world had reached a point of harmony and understanding that once seemed unattainable, with the legacy of the scaled warriors living on in every act of kindness and bravery. Surrounded by family and the next wave of adventurers ready to take their flight, I felt a profound peace that ran deeper than any river. The dreams we had once whispered into the night were now screamed into the daylight by those who dared to be bold and unyielding in their pursuit of a better world. As I prepared to embark on yet another journey, a quieter, more reflective path, I knew that my story, though it might wane in urgency, had helped illuminate the way. My voice would echo still in the vibrant tales told by countless others, blending with the music of a world united by the promises of shared dreams. In the dusk of my life, beneath skies that had borne witness to our struggle and triumph alike, I found contentment in the knowledge that the flight towards unity continues. Though I may fade into the annals of history, Arion the half-dragon, a symbol of hope and renewal, would remain eternal, rooted in the song of the world, carried forth by those who dared to soar. As my days took on a gentler pace, I settled into the role of an elder statesman, a guide for those eager to carve their own stories into the pages of history. Young dreamers often sought me out for advice, and I delighted in their eager eyes, full of wonder for the world they were discovering anew. Sitting by the hearthsides of communal gatherings, with flickering flames casting shadows that danced in time with the tales told, I recounted the saga that brought us to this point. But more than the events, it was the lessons that I emphasized: the inviolate power of unity, the resilience found in diversity, and the strength gained from empathy. In this nurturing environment, bonds continued to flourish. Friendships blossomed among the young as effortlessly as wildflowers on a sunlit hillside. Dragons and humans sat side by side, their discussions and debates stretching late into the night, filled with dreams of a future unbound by fear or division. One evening, as the cool breeze carried the scents of 1,000 blooming flowers, Larissa and I found ourselves perched atop a rocky outcrop, overlooking the valley that now spread below, mosaic of life that had been our life's work. The moon hung like a silent guardian in the sky, its light casting a gentle glow upon us. I wonder, Larissa mused, her eyes reflecting the starlight, what stories will be told of us when we are but echoes in the wind. Her words stirred something profound within me. For a moment, I imagined the distant future, the world shaped by the actions of innumerable inheritors of our legacy. In my heart, I carried the hope that those stories would speak of a time when understanding conquered fear, when bridges spanned chasms once deemed insurmountable. They will speak of dreams made real, I responded, my voice as soft as the rustling leaves, of hearts that dared to listen and wings that chose to lift rather than oppress. Our story will endure, not because of battles fought, but because of peace achieved. And so we sat, two beings of scales and spirit, content in the knowledge that the world we had nurtured would continue to bloom, carried on by hands both familiar and new. The community thrived in ways we had once only imagined. The arts blossomed with new vigor, music and poetry singing sweet refrains that spoke of hope and unity. Science and magic intertwined, bringing innovations that propelled society toward brighter horizons. My role shifted from that of a leader to a quiet observer, ever present but no longer at the helm. It was a role I embraced with gratitude, knowing that the generations that followed were shaping a future that would stand the test of time. The twilight years brought with them a sense of stillness, a chance to savor the small joys of life, watching the sky bleed vibrant colors at dusk, feeling the earth warm beneath the morning sun, and listening to the gentle rustle of life in motion. Stories continued to weave through our lives, each one new yet familiar, like a song whose melody changes but carries the same heart. And among those stories was a tale of transformation and transcendence. As I lay my head down under the starlit sky, dreams soon took me, carrying me back through the paths I had walked, through skies I had flown. I knew that while my journey was nearing its final chapter, the story of our world was just unfolding, full of potential, as endless as the starlit sky. In those dreams, I watched the future rise a tapestry woven from countless lives, each thread shimmering with its own light. The legacy of the scaled warriors, embodied in acts of kindness and courage, would remain bright, steadfast as the constellations. For I was and ever will be Arion, the half-dragon whose heart learned to dance between worlds. And in this story, a living testament to dreams dared all who choose hope shall find a home.